It's a devastating smear and stain on his career. If he's guilty, we'll see what happens.
We're gonna get all the information from the commission, and then we'll obviously, make a statement.
From he goes immediately with a right hand. Scores down. First round. Oh with a right hand. First round. Barrios is down in the first 30 seconds.
Look, yeah, I thought he was gonna do a little bit better, but Ryan showed that he can box a little bit.
Boxing pros are calling out Ryan Garcia for cheating against Mario Barrios, and this scandal is spreading like wildfire through the sport. When Shakur Stevenson dropped that VADA reference on social media, he wasn't just making casual conversation. He was throwing shade at how impossibly sharp and explosive De looked that night. And here's the thing, Shakur knows what peak performance looks like, and what he saw didn't sit right with him. Now boxing insiders are whispering behind closed doors, and these aren't random fans on Twitter. These are professionals Ryan been in the game for decades, and they're saying Garcia's performance raised serious red flags. The speed, the timing, the way he was moving, some veterans are suggesting it looked too good to be natural. And when fighters start questioning each other publicly, you know there's real smoke behind the accusations.
I thought Ryan did his thing tonight. I don't know, was VADA involved in this fight?
Is that how good he looked? Is that how good he
looked? At the end of the day, I seen him with Rolly. He didn't look like that. So my question is...
Oscar de la Hoya is defending Shakur Garcia so aggressively that it's actually making people more suspicious. Think about it. When someone protests this loudly about innocence, what does that usually mean? Oscar keeps dismissing every cheating allegation as baseless rumors, claiming there's zero evidence and calling it all internet speculation. But here's what's wild. His tone has completely shifted from his usual measured responses to other controversies. He's not just defending Ryan, he's attacking anyone who questions the performance. And boxing insiders are noticing this defensive stance, with some voices in the sport saying Oscar's reaction is way too intense for someone who should be confident in his fighter's clean record. The more Oscar pushes back against these allegations, the more attention he's drawing to them. It's like he's pouring gasoline on a fire he's trying to put out.
Information from the commission, and then we'll obviously, make a statement. But right now we have to get the B samples and all that, so yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. But it's like there's no room for
David Benavidez tried to play it safe by saying he won't make accusations without solid proof, but then he dropped a bombshell warning that sent shockwaves through the boxing community. He said if cheating were ever confirmed in a high-profile fight like this, it would be absolutely catastrophic for the entire sport. That's not just some throwaway comment. That's Benavidez acknowledging that this scandal could destroy boxing's credibility. But here's where it gets interesting. Benavidez also admitted that watching the fight live, Ryan's performance looked incredibly clean and explosive. His timing was razor-sharp, his speed was otherworldly, and his counterpunching was operating on a completely different level. Many fans and analysts called it one of Ryan's greatest career performances, a masterclass in boxing execution that showcased everything that makes him special as a fighter.
So that's why I really don't want to talk about it, because until all the information, I don't want to bash somebody if the information's not right. But if that's really what he did,
But here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. Terence Crawford, one of the most respected pound-for-pound fighters in the world, gave Ryan props for his technical improvement and smart boxing execution. Crawford praised how Ryan controlled distance, landed those devastating counters, and finished the fight with complete authority. Coming from Crawford, that's massive validation. This guy doesn't hand out compliments lightly. However, and this is crucial, Crawford also threw in a subtle warning. He suggested that future fights will be much tougher for Ryan, especially against opponents with strong defensive skills and mental toughness. Was Crawford hinting that this level of performance might not be sustainable? Or was he just being realistic about the challenges ahead? The boxing world is still trying to decode exactly what Crawford meant by those comments.
I definitely think that he's going to have a lot of confidence, but at the same time, if he's going up with a fighter like Shakur, it's going to be different because they've been in the ring with each other many a times as kids, and he's going to have that edge mentally over Ryan, even going in the ring, set aside his skill.
The pressure surrounding Ryan Garcia going into this fight was absolutely insane, and you could feel it from the moment both fighters made their walkouts. Ryan had everything to prove after months of controversy and speculation about his mental state and commitment to the sport. But here's what caught everyone's attention: Ryan's energy was completely different from his previous fights. He carried this aggressive, almost predatory aura that nobody had seen before. From the opening bell, he made a statement by stepping forward immediately, refusing to stay passive or let Barrios dictate the pace. This wasn't the sometimes hesitant Ryan Garcia we'd seen in other big fights. This was a fighter who looked like he had something to prove and the tools to prove it. The question that's haunting everyone now is whether that transformation was natural or chemically enhanced.
Tonight, a ton of pressure, and he started this fight like the world was watching. He started this fight like he had a point to prove. He came out in the first round after an immaculate walkout from both fighters. Mario Barrios had Aztec dancers and drums as his walkout. Ryan Garcia had the aura, the ambiance in his walkout. And the first round, seconds in, this was a statement move for Ryan Garcia. He didn't even stay in his corner.
Tim Bradley absolutely destroyed the corner strategy, and his criticism exposed just how badly Mario Barrios was prepared for this fight. Bradley questioned every decision Joe Goosen made during the bout, pointing out that Barrios kept walking forward into Ryan's power shots without making any meaningful adjustments. It was like watching someone walk into the same trap over and over again. Ryan was picking Barrios apart with sharp angles, perfect timing, and precision shots that landed clean every single time. The lack of tactical adjustments from Barrios' corner made the fight look completely one-sided, almost like they had no backup plan when their original strategy failed miserably. Bradley's analysis raised an uncomfortable question: was Barrios genuinely outclassed, or did Ryan's performance exceed what anyone could have reasonably prepared for?
Hell, was that Goosen? What kind of game plan was that Goosen? Like, come on now. Come on. Bruh, he kept coming. Goosen, the game plan was to come forward, but bro, he kept coming forward and was getting hit like a motherfucker, man. Like you had Ryan Garcia just moving on angles, popping the shit out of it, timing the shit out of damn Barrios. Make that make sense when you gonna make the adjustment, Goosen? You didn't make no adjustments in the damn corner. You didn't have no plan B, none of that shit.
The social media explosion after this fight was unlike anything we've seen in recent boxing history. Fans couldn't stop talking about Ryan's performance, sharing clips and breaking down every exchange frame by frame. Steven Espinoza made an interesting point, though. He said that online hype doesn't always translate to massive pay-per-view numbers, but the reaction to this fight was different. The buzz wasn't just about the knockout or the drama. People were genuinely shocked by how good Ryan looked. Tim Bradley jumped on social media to praise Ryan's speed and counterpunching, describing his movement as extremely dangerous and perfectly synchronized. Bradley emphasized that Ryan's motivation level reminded him of the Haney fight, but with even more focus and aggression. According to Bradley, this was the most athletic and confident version of Ryan Garcia we'd ever seen, combining explosive power with improved ring intelligence in a way that looked almost superhuman.
Did Ryan look like he was fast in the motherfucker? Yeah, that motherfucker looked fast as hell. Was Ryan counterpunching? His timing was on point. Yeah, his time was on point. Was Ryan Garcia, was he motivated? Hell yeah, he was motivated. The most motivated I've seen him since the Devin Haney fight. But we know what happened after.
Chris Algery believes we finally saw Ryan Garcia reach his true potential, and his analysis is fascinating because Algery knows what elite boxing looks like. He said Ryan's amateur background and natural physical gifts were on full display, creating a combination of speed, power, and boxing intelligence that few fighters possess. But here's the key part of Algery's assessment. He stressed that this can't be a one-time performance. If Ryan wants to establish himself as a legitimate world champion and not just a social media star who had one great night, he needs to repeat this level of execution consistently. Algery's comments highlight the pressure Ryan now faces. Everyone expects him to fight at this incredible level every time he steps in the ring. The question is whether what we saw was Ryan's new normal or an anomaly that will be impossible to replicate.
Potential, finally, because obviously the talent was always there, the physical gifts were there, the speed, the power, and people forget about his high-level amateur pedigree, his background. You know, he's got a boxing IQ as well, and he just put it all together. I don't know if it was the camp, I don't know if it was just psychologically he was ready and mature enough, but whatever he did, he needs to be able to repeat that, because that version of Ryan Garcia.
Sean Zittle's reaction revealed just how dominant Ryan's performance was, and his expectations show how the boxing world viewed this matchup going in. Zittle admitted he expected the fight to end much earlier, possibly within the first few rounds, because Ryan was landing such clean, powerful shots. The fact that Mario Barrios survived the full distance actually earned him respect for his toughness and heart. Ryan dropped Barrios with a vicious right hand in the first round, setting the tone immediately, and then remained technically precise throughout the entire fight. Zittle compared it to Ryan's performance against Haney, noting the same explosive power and aggressive mindset, but with better control and patience. The sustained excellence over multiple rounds is what impressed analysts most. This wasn't just a flash knockdown followed by coasting.
Garcia was dominant. I didn't think Barrios was going to make it out of the first few rounds, but not only did he made it the distance. I give him credit for hanging tough. Yeah, he's always a tough guy. But, you know, Garcia, first of all, drops him with the right hand in round one. He was on point. He was sharp. He looked like the guy that fought Devin Haney.
Bruce Carrington's breakdown exposed the fundamental problems with Mario Barrios' fighting style and why this matchup was always going to favor Ryan Garcia. Carrington explained that Barrios is essentially one-dimensional, relying on walking forward and applying pressure, which makes him incredibly vulnerable against counterpunchers. When Barrios can't control the pace and force his style of fight, he struggles dramatically against reactive boxers who can move and counter. Ryan's movement, timing, and explosive counters completely disrupted Barrios' rhythm and forced him into an uncomfortable style of boxing. Carrington's analysis proved the old saying that styles make fights, especially at the elite level where small advantages become massive problems. The stylistic mismatch was so severe that some analysts wondered if Barrios was the right opponent to showcase Ryan's skills, or if it made his performance look better than it actually was.
As Mario, sometimes he can fall into that one-dimensional type style, you know, being a little stationary, staying at the mid-range and not being first, staying at the mid-range and not, you know, countering off and firing off. He's not the most reactive type of fighter, you know. If he can have his way and, you know, be technical, you're fighting his pace, then he's most comfortable. But when it's not like that, then it's kind of tough. That I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I think that Ryan Garcia, I think that the style of Barrios kind of, you know, also helped with Ryan's style. So
Oscar De La Hoya's post-fight analysis painted Ryan's performance as nothing short of a masterclass, and coming from a Hall of Fame fighter and promoter that carries serious weight. De La Hoya praised Ryan's calm, controlled approach and technically disciplined boxing style throughout the fight. He highlighted how Ryan's consistent jab work set the rhythm and controlled the distance, while his combination punching kept constant pressure on Barrios without being reckless. What impressed De La Hoya most was Ryan's patience instead of rushing for highlight reel knockouts. He stayed composed and followed the game plan perfectly. De La Hoya described this as a mature version of Ryan Garcia, showing ring intelligence and high-level striking control that we hadn't seen consistently before. According to Oscar, Ryan was enjoying himself in there while executing at the highest level, which is the mark of a truly elite fighter who's operating in complete control.
That jab he was popping, the way he was calm, cool, collective, literally. But I love the fact that he was using his combinations and he stuck to the game.
David Benavidez couldn't stop praising Ryan's overall performance, and his technical breakdown reveals why this fight was so impressive from a pure boxing standpoint. Benavidez highlighted Ryan's sharp jab, devastating body shots, and extraordinary hand speed that seemed to catch Barrios off guard repeatedly. More importantly, Benavidez sees this fight as a crucial comeback statement after Ryan's previous defeat and personal struggles outside the ring. This victory didn't just rebuild Ryan's confidence, it showcased his physical explosiveness and offensive variety in a way that suggests he could be genuinely dangerous in the welterweight division. Benavidez believes this version of Ryan Garcia, with restored swagger and sharper reflexes, could become a major threat to any top fighter at 147 pounds. The renewed championship mentality combined with his natural gifts creates a dangerous combination that the entire division needs to take seriously moving forward.
Man, he looked good. He looked good. He had good jab, good movement, good body shots, and bro, his speed is crazy. You know what I mean? So I feel like There's a lot of good fights from him at 147. You know, this is a good bounce back from him because this is coming back from his first loss. I mean, from his loss with Rolly, and now he's a world champion again. So, you know, not only did he gain his confidence back, gain his mojo back.
Abdullah Mason had mixed feelings about the performance, and his perspective reveals the complex reactions this fight generated among boxing experts. Mason thought Ryan looked physically strong, sharp, and highly dangerous throughout the fight, and he actually predicted a potential stoppage around rounds 10 or 11 based on Ryan's finishing power. However, Mason felt that Ryan didn't fully reach the devastating level of sharpness that many fans and analysts expected before the fight. While the performance showed excellent athletic conditioning, explosive movement, and controlled aggression, Mason believed there was room for even more clinical execution. His assessment was that Ryan looked very good but slightly below the destructive standard that his hype suggested. This creates an interesting question. Were expectations so high that even an excellent performance felt somewhat disappointing? Or was Ryan holding back more than we realized?
Ryan looked pretty strong. He was looking sharp. You know, I said that he'll probably get him out of there like 11-10. He feeling good.
Rolly Romero's reaction was pure entertainment, but it also revealed the psychological warfare that happens between fighters outside the ring. Romero responded sarcastically to Ryan's performance, joking about the absence of any call-out and suggesting that Ryan might be avoiding a rematch challenge. Romero claimed he could defeat Ryan and even implied that Ryan could be afraid of facing him again. He also raised the hypothetical scenario of how Ryan would perform in a rematch against Devin Haney, which is the fight everyone really wants to see. While Romero's tone was confrontational and playful rather than serious technical analysis, it highlighted how fighters use media moments to build their own profiles and create pressure on other fighters. The psychological battle between elite fighters is often as important as what happens inside the ring, and Romero was clearly trying to position himself for bigger opportunities.
My amateur pedigree, I could box, I could move, I could box, I could take my time. I don't always just have to go for the knockout. I didn't want to get too ahead of myself. Mario was countering a lot of fast shots, could have caught me in between the shots, so I had to be very selective on my opportunities, and I didn't want to get caught with a big shot, so I took.
Ryan Garcia's own explanation of his performance revealed a more mature and strategic approach to boxing that surprised many fans who expected him to rely purely on knockout power. Ryan emphasized that he demonstrated his amateur pedigree by boxing intelligently and patiently, avoiding reckless exchanges, because he recognized that Barrios was countering with fast, dangerous shots that could have landed during wild combinations. Instead of forcing action, Ryan focused on timing, selective punching, and maintaining defensive awareness while waiting for high-quality opportunities to present themselves. By controlling the pace and picking his shots carefully, he minimized the risk of getting caught by heavy counters while maximizing his own offensive output. This tactical discipline reflected a much more calculated fighting style that proved Ryan can adapt his strategy based on his opponent's strengths and weaknesses, while still maintaining his explosive offensive potential when the right moments arise.
You're going to confuse him. He doesn't know how to fight inside the ring. You get out jabbing, you get out boxing, and that's exactly what it is. And then lastly, I said, everybody's going to watch, look out for that left hook. But we're going to trick them.
Henry Garcia, Ryan's father and trainer, broke down the tactical strategy they used to completely confuse and overwhelm Mario Barrios throughout the fight. Their game plan was built around forcing Barrios to fight at Ryan's preferred distance while dominating the center of the ring through sharp jabs and unpredictable combination sequences. They specifically worked on using feints to set up Ryan's devastating left hook while disguising the real attack patterns until it was too late for Barrios to react. This approach allowed Ryan to control positioning, timing, and offensive rhythm while keeping Barrios constantly guessing about what was coming next. The strategy involved reversing expected punch sequences and maintaining high-level boxing intelligence rather than relying on pure aggression or power. Henry's breakdown showed that this wasn't just natural talent on display. This was months of preparation and tactical planning executed at the highest level, blending Ryan's speed and power with deception and calculated striking selection. So here's where we stand after this explosive performance that has the entire boxing world divided. Ryan Garcia delivered what many consider one of his most technically refined and dominant displays, showcasing incredible speed, perfect timing, and tactical maturity that we'd never seen from him before. His supporters believe this was the real Ryan Garcia finally reaching his potential and proving he belongs among the elite welterweights. But those cheating allegations aren't going away, and they're actually growing louder as more fighters and analysts question how dramatically Ryan's performance improved. Whether this victory represents his true peak or becomes another controversial chapter in his career remains to be seen. What's undeniable is that his star power has exploded even further, and everyone in the division now has to take him seriously as a legitimate threat. So here's my question for you, drop it in the comments below. Do you believe Ryan Garcia delivered a clean, career-defining performance that proves he's elite? Or do these cheating allegations make you question everything we saw that night? If this breakdown helped you understand what's really happening behind the scenes, smash that like button, subscribe for more boxing controversy coverage, and hit the notification bell because this story is far from over.